The Cash Physical Therapy Headquarters podcast. Today, we're demystifying the path to seven figures because there's so many people out there that do not think that it is possible. But we've had 17 people scale their cash practice to seven figures within 4 years of working with us that never in a million years thought that they would own a seven-figure practice that doesn't require their time, allows them to manage their practice remotely and live a life that most people think is impossible for physical therapists. So today we're going to talk about what that path looks like, show you some of the numbers that help you really realize how doable it really is, and what exactly we do that's allowing PTs to scale to seven figures in 3 to 4 years at such a high frequency and such a high success rate. Ben, this is a good one, man. We just talked about this a ton at Clinical Marketer Live. What are your thoughts around this subject and the fact that so few PTs think that it's possible, despite us seeing it happen all the freaking time?
Yeah, I think part of it is because cash base is relatively new. And scaling hasn't been, most of the people that get into cash pay is they want to create a lifestyle business where like, oh, I just want to be able to treat the way they want to. And they're not really like true business owners. But now it's really becoming clear, because there's a pathway to do it, that you can scale a cash-based practice. And it's becoming more and more, every year that goes on, there's more and more people doing it. And so I think it's partly because it's new. Also, secondly, I think it's because traditionally the people that open up cash-based practices aren't actually true business owners. But if you're a true business owner, an operator, and a high-level individual, you can scale a cash-based practice as easy as any other business out there, maybe even easier, in my opinion, on things. So I think that's what contributes to the misconception, the false misconception.
What do you think? It seems like PTs have a harder time wrapping their head around seven figures. But if you look at chiro, dental, physician practices, DPC, getting to seven figures is like the norm. It's like the standard. Yes, so many PTs are just like, no, I can only do. I just want to get to 15 to 20K a month. Like, why is it that physical therapists undervalue themselves so much, or think that seven figures is so out of reach, when in reality it's like that is like the bare minimum to compete at the highest level? Like most businesses, like having a seven-figure year would be an absolute emergency.
Yeah, I think part of it is we did a personality assessment and test. There was a first class one of the first classes, the first semester of PT school, we did a personality test. And I think it's the personality of the general physical therapist that causes part of it. It's the number one trait is they just want to help people, and they don't. And a lot of times that can be at the sacrifice of themselves. And so they get so zoned in on it. I think that's part of it. I think also, if you look at other medical professionals, we're just, for a doctorate level, we're paid the least. People think like a 90K salary is great. 80, 90K salary is great. And that's average for a PT, a physical therapist. But, if you go look at surgeons, physicians, other like medical professionals, like dentists, that's not a lot, right? So the difference between 80K and $1 million is a big deal, right? Versus dentists and, surgeons and, family medicine, it's not as big of a gap. So I think that's part of it too, is just the conception of what physical therapists are usually reimbursed, and just putting that seven figures on a pedestal.
But it's interesting because at Clinical Marketer Live, we did a survey for, not really a survey. We did an assessment to figure out, based off of like what everyone's lifestyle goals truly are, like the cars, the houses, the time, the trips, all the things that they want to do in life, what that lifestyle actually costs. Like, what do they need to make a year in order to have that? And on average, I'll show you the data here because it's actually pretty badass. I don't think you've seen this yet. For everyone watching, sorry, this might be hard to read. Let me see if I can make this bigger on mobile for you guys. Okay, let's move this over. Scoot. Okay, so here's some of the data. So based on the average desired lifestyle for all the things that they want, they know that they need to be making $310,000 a year. So this is the average desired lifestyle cost that is required. And despite all of that, everyone is terrified to set the goal of building a seven-figure practice, even though they know that that is what they want, but they're afraid to actually cast that as a goal. Because $300K a year, if you're doing seven figures and have a 30% profit margin, that puts you at $300,000 in profit. And so that means that you need to be making a little over seven figures so that you have a high enough profit to be able to pay yourself in distributions that dollar amount. And so there's a huge mismatch between what people actually want and the goals that they're setting. Why do you think that is?
I think that's honestly, the biggest lie that people are out there. They don't know that it's a lie that they're telling themselves. But everybody's like, oh, I don't want a seven-figure practice. But in the same breath, they say they want time freedom. They want, and you saw that survey, want $300,000, per year. You do, based on everything that you said, where you want time freedom, financial freedom, be able to pick up your kids, take your kids home from school, have more time, work, not have to treat 5 days a week. Everything that those intangibles that you're saying is actually achieved once you have a seven-figure practice. So you actually do want a seven-figure practice. You just don't understand that that's what it takes to have the things that you want. But like Jordan just mentioned, with that 300,000, 30% profit margins, you have to take home 300,000. You have to have $1 million practice. So I'm glad that data played out like that too. It's just another level or another pin to chalk up that people actually do want seven-figure practices. They just don't know that's exactly what they want.
Right. I just spoke with a person today that's going to be joining Limitless DPT. And one of the first things he said was that he doesn't see physical therapy being his end game. He wants to get out in like 3 or 4 years because he just can't make a lot of money as a PT or as owning a physical therapy practice, which is, I was excited to hear that because I'm like, let me show you some numbers real quick of not only your numbers, but the dozens of clients that we've had that scaled to seven figures, and not only scaled to seven figures, but built massively profitable practices. And now they get to live an entirely different life. Like, did you notice at the live event how Frank, Christian, Ben, like all of these guys and girls who've scaled to seven figures, they like walk different now. They look different. Like Frank looks really freaking good compared to when he first joined in on the program.
Yeah, it's all about becoming the person, on that journey. You just carry yourself different. You're more confident in your personal life. Like you've already, what you've been through, and you know that you've gotten through it, and not a whole lot of people have. And so you kind of just have a different level of confidence that comes with it, and you feel lighter, you feel different. And I think that's something that people don't realize is of scaling a seven-figure practice is actually just the confidence and just the self-belief that you get from yourself about who you actually are.
What's nuts is, guys, this is our seven-figure impact award that we give away to practice owners who generate seven figures through their business. And since we started this, we've had 17 clients out of 103 that have scaled to seven figures, which means the success rate of scaling to seven figures is astronomically better when you're inside of a container with practice owners who've actually done it, who can show you how to do it. Most people think that it's going to take them 20 years to get there. They did it in 3 to 4 years. You can completely change your life. But it does require that you believe that it's possible, because if you don't believe it's possible, you're going to make in completely different decisions, and you're going to fight tooth and nail for inches rather than asking bigger questions, leading to better solutions, allowing you to grow so much faster.
Yeah. I'd love to see the data that we have. This would be interesting data for you to pull. Is look at the people that have been with us for 4 years and the success rate of achieving $1 million practice. I think I'm pretty sure that everybody that's been with us for 4 years has $1 million practice. It's got to be up there.
Let me show you, because you're right. Let's see. Okay, here's a group of people who've been with us for 4 years, for 3 or more years. Let's see, where did that screen go? Okay. So here's people that have been with us for 3 or 4 years. And since joining us, Claire and Philip added 172,000. Maddie and Brady added 71,000. They're doing 7 figures. Jen's not quite there. She's around 50,000. Jason Rocca, he added 66,000, and he's now doing
7 figures.
7 figures in his practice. Santo did it. He's not quite there. Jamie's right on the cusp. I think she's doing 60 to 70,000. Christian and Ryan, they've hit it. Matt is right there. I think he's at $70,000 a month. Ben has been able to get there. Then there's Christian and Ryan who've gotten there.
And think about all the coaches that were clients. You got Luke, you got AJ, you got Will, you got
Let's see where those.
Chris,
yep.
You got all those guys too on there. Emily, all those guys.
Let me make this bigger so everyone can actually see it.
All those guys have been with us for 3 or 4 years.
These are all of our coaches. Everyone started with us for around $20,000. Now, every single one of them, besides Emily, has a 7-figure practice. They've been with us for now 4-5 years, and so we're seeing that people are hitting 7 figures faster and faster and faster. It's like the 6-minute mile. It's like once you see that it's possible, and then people show you how they did it, it keeps getting refined and optimized, and people are now hitting 7 figures faster and faster. Last year, we gave away 7 of these 7-figure impact awards. This year at Clinical Marketer Live, we awarded 6 more people our 7-figure impact award. And the thing that they all have in common is not a single one of them ever thought that they would be building a 7-figure practice. None of them thought it was possible. They just want to get to 20, 30K a month. But when you have a good operating system and you're making data-driven decisions, and you keep having the courage to actually make those decisions based on data, getting to 7 figures becomes an inevitability. You only get halted by all of the commotion going on in your head that says, oh, what if this happens? Or, oh, I need to settle and pace and just, I don't want to make any changes to break the progress that I've made because they're afraid to have to start back over. And so all of that fear and all of that, even guilt and shame that some people might feel of oh, I'm a PT, I shouldn't be making this kind of money. All of those are the only reasons that stop people from continuing to grow to 7 figures. It's all the mental shit. That's why athletes and entrepreneurs all agree that success is 90% mental. Because once you believe that you can do it, your actions are entirely different, leading to completely different outcomes. And it all starts with that belief that it's possible.
Yeah. I mean, numbers don't lie. I tell them about the story that of somebody that was at the event last week over the weekend. And you joked with him if you wouldn't have left, you'd probably be coaching right now.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. We had 2 guys, Kevin and Mike. So they were in one of our first cohorts back in 2022. And they just now joined our mastermind program. And they were so pissed off because all of the clients that were in our 2022 mastermind cohort, our first launch of mastermind, every single one of them, besides Emily, has a 7-figure practice. And they're now coaches within our program. And they're still sitting at, 20 to 30K a month. And we're joking at the bar. They didn't think it was that funny, but I had a few mojitos in me at the time. It was 110 degrees, so mojitos were the go-to on this night. I was joking with them that it's you guys, because they're saying that they wish they had joined because it pissed them off to see all the people in there. Now it's 7 figures. I was if you guys would have just joined, you'd probably be coaches in our program right now and not paying for it. And they didn't even say anything. They just kind of shook their heads in silence as kind of a fuck. I could almost hear their thoughts going off with it. But that's the power of being inside of the right community where you're forced to think bigger, where your coaches can anticipate every single misstep because they live and breathe this shit every single day. They didn't start a coaching program because they didn't know how to build a 7-figure practice that paid them multiple 6 figures. And so when you're around an atmosphere like that, where not only the coaches are living and breathing this every day and hitting those results, but you're seeing all the people around you also hitting those results, realizing that there's really no difference between you and them. You're doing the same stuff. The only difference between them and you is they believe that they can do it. So they take very different action every single day. So they're able to get their way faster with way less pain and effort.
Yeah, I think that people don't really realize that the ignorance tax is real. Do you want to talk about the ignorance taxes, and I'll highlight the numbers on the back end?
Yeah. Everyone thinks that taxes are the largest expense that they have, and it's not. As Ben said, it is ignorance tax, or as I call it, stupid tax. Okay, it's the cost of not knowing what you don't know. And so if you want a lifestyle where you're able to pay yourself $300,000 a year, but you're only making 80 to 100, well, then it's costing you $220,000 every single year that you don't know how to do that. And so that is without a doubt the most expensive thing that you have, by not investing in a community that can show you how it's done to help you develop these skills and pull out the best version of yourself that isn't weighed down by all the emotional commotion that's in your head that's telling you that you can't do it, or what happens if I outgrow these friends or these people, or what are these people going to think if I start making all of this money? Like the only difference is that's really it, because building a 7-figure business is really freaking simple. Ben, if you and I started all this over, I bet we'd have a 7-figure business again within 12 months.
Yeah, we did that with San Diego. Started a new clinic, 7 figures. So
same with Chris Smith. Yeah. When he launched FM, 7 figures in 12 months.
Yeah, but the point I want to make is like, all right, I'm going to throw these guys under the bus because I like these guys, had a good conversation with them, and I know that they're going to take this well if they heard it. 2 individuals that Jordan was talking about how they were in the same cohort at the beginning as some of our other coaches. Our coaches on average generate around $100,000 per year. These 2 guys are still stuck at $30,000 per month. So let's go ahead and do the math on that. Over 3 years, okay, it's $100,000 is what our coaches on average make per month, minus $30,000, okay, minus what those guys are making. That's a difference of $70,000 per month. Okay, that's what they're paying in ignorance tax currently. All right. Let's just say that it wasn't even over the course of 3 years that they paid this ignorance tax. Let's just do it in the last year. 70,000 times 12 months. They've paid $840,000 in ignorance tax that these other coaches did not have to pay. Right? That's just in the last year. Take year 2, year 3, you're looking at $1 million in difference between what our coaches are doing that were in the same cohort as these 2 that are just now joining. Better late than never. Right. But at the end of the day, they paid over $1 million in ignorance tax by not doing what these other guys did. That is the ignorance tax. I promise there's no bigger expense that they've had. Not payroll, not taxes, not rent. The biggest cost to them was ignorance tax.
Right. And I think one of the reasons why people are too afraid to set that bar and set that goal for themselves is because they haven't looked at the alternative. They've only weighed the fear of the unknown. They haven't weighed the fear of the known. They haven't thought about it, because here's the trade-off. Okay. You can build a 7-figure practice in 4 years without like hustling and grinding. It's literally just making data-driven decisions. You're not working more than you already are. It's not working more. It's knowing how to use leverage and how to optimize for profit. When you're data driven, you're only working on the right things at the right time so that you're not wasting effort on just random busy work. And so here's the trade-off. You can develop skills and choose to do hard, uncomfortable things and work on ourselves to turn ourselves into someone who's capable of running a 7-figure practice. And you can completely change your life within 4 years. That's one thing. It's uncomfortable. It's hard. But so is the alternative, where you have to work just as hard as you are for the next 30, 40 years of your fucking life. Like, that sucks that people don't have to do that. It's just normalized. And you don't even think about it, because that is the familiar discomfort. That is the comfort that makes you relatable to your own inner circle. And so once you start doing the math, it's like, is it scarier to be in fight or flight and always worried about money for the next 40 years of your life, hoping that you can retire and have something to live off of and then maybe get to do all the things you want in life? Or is it scarier to commit yourself to achieving what a small select portion of people are able to accomplish and do the work that most people aren't willing to do so that you can live the rest of your life how most people can't? Like, which of those two deals would you make if you, at the beginning of your life, it was like, hey, do you want to have problems and make you relatable to everyone else, then work your ass off until you're 60 and hope you can retire? Or would you like to do this, also really hard and uncomfortable, but do the hard work that most people avoid and then retire at like 40 or 45 and then have the wealth to be able to not only pour back in your community and pour back in your profession, but give your family a lifestyle that most people would look at and say that you got lucky? Like, which one of those deals would you take at the beginning of your life? Probably the former, but society, your friends, your parents, your colleagues, your mentors, they've conditioned you to think that that's unrealistic, that it's not that simple. It is that simple. All you need is 4 PTs. You need 4 PTs and an admin, and you have a 7-figure practice. And you can do that in 4 years. And if either direction is going to be really hard, building a 20 and 30K a month practice, that's really freaking hard. Staying there, it's really freaking hard. You're wearing all of the hats, you're doing all of the work, you're in constant danger of everything falling through the floor and losing your business and losing your income. On the other side, it's really, really hard to have to constantly face the fact that you're not good enough yet, and there's more skills and things that you need to learn, and you need to fail faster. Both of those are extremely difficult. I wouldn't say one's more difficult than the other. So why wouldn't you choose the difficult that at least has the upside to change your life and get you out of this rat race, get you out of the matrix sooner? To me, it seems pretty damn obvious. If you're listening to this and you've never asked yourselves those questions, like, start asking them. Who could you be? Who could you become? Who could you help if you got rid of all of your fears, doubts, and concerns? If you just got rid of those, who could you become if you started acting more confidently and believing that you could actually create that life for yourself? Because we're seeing it happen every single year to dozens of practice owners who, because they surrounded themselves with people like Ben, people like myself, people like the 6 coaches we have that have all generated 7 figures, it's hard not to start to believe in yourself and start to believe that it's possible when all those people around you are doing it. What I think is pretty damn funny is that every single one of our coaches have larger and more successful practices than any of our competing coaches. Any of the competing programs, the people that run it, our coaches lap them.
Yeah, I think there was actually something that was interesting. There was a video that I watched. It was actually of it was another coach actually was on Hormozi. He asked Hormozi, they asked Hormozi a question of should they shut down their practice or should they keep their coaching business, and they were pretty honest about the fact that they didn't enjoy their practice side of things, because anything that went wrong they had to be pulled back into. And so Hormozi's like, well, there you have your answer. You should just do coaching if that's what you enjoy more and stuff like that. So that's the problem is a lot of these coaches are coaching people on how to build businesses, the same businesses that they're not happy with is a problem, and they don't have clinic directors in place. They aren't able to pull themselves out. So I don't know. I don't understand how some feel okay like coaching on helping other people build a business, the same business that they did not have fulfillment in and did not enjoy it and were unhappy. That just blows my mind on it. And that's the people that you're learning from. So if you need to be making sure that the person that you're learning from built exactly what you wanted to build. And if they built and openly have said that they don't enjoy their practice, guess what? They're teaching you exactly to do the same thing, to not enjoy your practice. So I think it needs to be taken into bigger consideration of when people are looking at, I'm not saying you need to work with business coaching for us, but I'm just saying, like, when you're looking for a business coach, you need to figure out, do they actually have what I want? And it blows my mind. There's so many people that are investing in business coaching with people that not built what they want. And so it was just eye-opening to see that actually verbalized on the live video on
Right.
that.
Let me show you all something, because I think this is what really separates our program from any other programs that are out there. And it's not that the things that we teach are fundamentally like different. It's
Oh, they're better.
our
They're
organization
better.
is.
No, they're better. They're
I mean,
better. They're better.
I think so. But it's like on the surface, it all sounds the same. Like paid ads, sales, and hiring. Okay, those are like the three pillars of everything. But the way that we go about doing it is fundamentally different. Because when you look at other programs, you have these people that shut down their practices to start coaching because they couldn't figure out how to create their ideal lifestyle through their business. Our program is structured completely differently, and it has everything to do with our founding team, Ben, our partner Max, and myself. And so here's how we create curriculum and how we roll out everything to our clients. Okay, so it starts with, make this big for everyone watching on mobile here. Okay, so we have 3 core programs. Okay, I'm going to scroll this over because I know on mobile is difficult. Okay, we have our Limitless DPT program that helps everyone master marketing and sales. We have our Performance Mastermind program that helps master operations, data-driven decisions, and buying back your time and building a team. And then we have our Inner Circle program where you have to be doing 7 figures just to be in that program. And so right out of the gate, we're different from other programs because we have a next tier for every single level of problems that you're going to run into. Because once you have a team, well, now you need to know how to turn your profit into actual wealth so that your practice is a sellable asset, and 2, you're building out your wealth by investing in assets so that you no longer depend on your business. So now everything in life is optional for you. You only do the things that you care about doing. Ben, one of my favorite things that you said recently, when I made a really rational, logical suggestion that would help within your marketing, you're like, I don't do anything that I don't want to do. And that's great. You're in a position to do that. And now I'm trying to do better at living my life that way. Like if I don't want to do it, I'm just not going to do it. But the reason that our curriculum is so good and our community is so great and our success rate with getting people to 7 figures is so high is because Ben has very little to do with the day-to-day operations of the actual business. Your job is to focus on prokinetics and pushing the boundaries and the limits of what's possible in physical therapy. That's why you've been able to build a $1 million a year profit practice, doing $3 million in revenue, $1 million in profit. And what we do is Max and I, we take a look at all of Ben's problems. What are your biggest constraints? And then we design AI tools, resources, and curriculum to help solve your problems and then pass that learning onto all of our coaches, which you can see here in our Performance Mastermind. So then we take what's working for Ben and we help solve any problems he has. We then pass that down to all of our coaches and apply it to each of their unique situations to figure out what's the best delivery mechanism, what's the best process to teach this at scale. And then once we've implemented it in all of our coaches' businesses and it's continued to work, well, then we pass the perfected methodology and curriculum onto all of our clients. And so our curriculum is evolving every 6 to 12 months because we have our coaches and Ben all doing multi-7 figures or multi-7 figures. And then we have Max and I, marketing experts. We've managed millions of dollars in ad spend, and we've been building AI tools since we were 20. And so we know how to design software. We know how to work with AI. And so our job is basically to solve all of our coaches' problems so that they can only focus on their business to create better tools, better resources for all of our clients. And so because we have the best of both worlds, we have the experts in practice scaling, the experts in practice scaling, Ben, Will, Cameron, Michelle, Luke, AJ, Chris. They're focused 100% on their business and they just coach a call once a week. While Max and I, the experts in AI and marketing, we're solving all of their problems at scale and passing them on to other people. Whereas everyone else, they're practice owners that weren't able to scale, trying to learn marketing and trying to keep up with AI. And so because we have an expert for every individual piece, we're able to deliver the highest quality, most advanced mastermind for physical therapists in the entire country, which is why our success rate is so incredibly high, because there's not one person, one limited person trying to control everything. Did I miss anything, Ben? Why do you think our clients are able to get the results that we're able to get them so quickly?
Yeah, it's just the people that they're learning from.
Oh, and the culture.
Yeah,
the culture.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. So
yeah, right. It is crazy how much more fun it is when you create a mastermind of people who actually enjoy hanging out with one another. That's why we don't let anyone just into our program, because our culture is outrageous. And it all started because we took our first mastermind out to Miami, and then we accidentally threw a party, and then we all got drunk, got to know each other on a really deep level. And now that created this friendship, this camaraderie that was contagious. And now everyone else that's joined Mastermind has just become a part of this like large inner circle friend group where everyone isn't just talking about their business, we're talking about our lives and the real problems that we're like going through. And it's creating just like this incredible culture in this community where everyone is helping one another and everyone genuinely knows each other. And we're actually friends who go on vacations and go on trips with one another, which is why we do quarterly events now. Every single quarter we hang out and get in person because we actually love being around each other. And every single time we do, it not only leads to better tools and curriculum because we're learning about their problems. Then Max and I go to work on building that stuff out, but it also gets everyone like hyped up, like everyone's sharing their wins. It's like kind of like friendly competition with one another. I don't know if we could recreate that culture and that community if we started this whole thing over. It's so unique.
Yeah, it's different.
Right. So if you're here and you want to build a 7-figure clinic and you want to be around people who you actually enjoy hanging out with, who've been where you are, who've gone through the mental turbulence of becoming extraordinary and can help pull that version of you out, and you want to work with coaches who live this every single day, who didn't give up on their practice, but instead built a practice that gives them the lifetime financial and mental freedom they've always wanted, and you want to create that, well, then I highly recommend going to clinicalmarketer.com, applying to work with us. We have a lot of different tiers. So depending on where you're at, we know what it is you need. We know the challenges you have. We know how to overcome them. If you want to be a part of an elite level of high performance physical therapists who aren't only trying to change their life, but trying to change the profession and actually fucking mean it, go to clinicalmarketer.com, apply to work with us. You'll have a call directly with me so I can figure out what's going on and what it is that you should do based on where you're at. And if it makes sense, obviously we can partner up. If not, I'll refer you to one of our competing programs if I think it's a better fit for you. But my God, do yourself the favor and dream big. Your life's going to be hard no matter what. Reach for the fucking stars. Choose the hard that's going to have the best upside for you, because it's going to be hard no matter what. Might as well do the one where you can become the best version of yourself because you chose hard things, and where you can be the type of parent and provider that you always wanted to be. It's absolutely insane to do anything but. Anything to throw in there, Ben?
Nope. Well said.
Hell yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast. We can get this in front of more people. But wherever you are, you do have what it takes. There are people who are less talented, who are less skilled, less outspoken, and less charismatic than you, who have built 7-figure businesses. You can do it. You just got to change the circle and the people that you're hanging around with that are causing you to think small, because you can really change your life in a very short amount of time if you have the right people around you, giving the right advice, giving the right guidance, and helping you believe in yourself. So go to clinicalmarketer.com, apply to work with us. I'd love to talk to you. Thanks for listening, everybody.